are here to wake up. Wake up. Wake up together. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Hello.
Hello everybody.
We're back. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're excited to be here today to dive deep into the Sacral Chakra, the second energy center that sits just below your belly button here, and talk about what it means when your sacral chakra energy may be blocked and what it looks like when it's open and free flowing, and how that relates to expansion and joy in your life.
Yes. Yeah, this is a good one. Last week we shared about the root chakra, and so that is the energy center at the base of the spine. And we talked about when that energy center is open and flowing, we feel safe, we feel like we can trust life, we feel grounded and stable and steady. And then when that energy center is open and flowing, it flows up into the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is all about feeling safe, really, to experience joy and pleasure in life, and to really connect to life in that way, to connect to life in a free-flowing, joyful way where we can create and live a really happy existence.
Yeah, the sacral's a really juicy one. It's also where we relate to sensuality and sexuality and enjoying those pleasures of life. And it's also where the inner child sits, our young version of ourselves that may have accumulated all of these things, all of these pains and memories throughout our lives, and where we're able to free that version of ourselves and liberate it so that we can live in joy and expansion and pleasure.
Absolutely. Yes, we all deserve to live in joy and pleasure and really enjoy this life, because we only live here, well, as far as we know, in this lifetime, we only live here once. And yeah, it's an energy center that is really up for healing right now for a lot of people. And it's an energy center that helps us to feel like we can live a life of joy and freedom and fun. And I think that all of us really want that, right? So
yeah, definitely. And so to start, like, what does it look like when this energy center is blocked or the energy isn't flowing properly? Well, I'm sure a lot of us have experience with the guilt monster, the guilt monster, the shame monster, really this sense that we've done something wrong, or that we've made a mistake, or that we're going to get in trouble. And that's coming up in a big way on the planet right now, is publicly, it's seeming like more and more these days, we are shaming people and we are guilting people, and this idea of cancel culture, really, where we're taking any mistake that someone's made in their life and we're telling them, you need to feel ashamed, you need to feel guilty, is really bringing up the energy in this sacral chakra. And really what it is it's our child that is feeling that guilt and that shame and that fear of making a mistake or being called bad or being called wrong, when the truth is that we all make a lot of mistakes on this journey called life. And I think it's a prerequisite for being here, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. And we actually made a video about this quite some time ago, about making mistakes and what mistakes really are. And really, I think we can all resonate with the fact that we're all just doing the best that we can with the knowledge that we have in all different areas of our lives. And so, yeah, if you look back at yourself, 5, 10, even 1 year ago, there's things that, like choices that you might have made or things that you might have done that maybe weren't in alignment. And that's how we learn, is by making those choices and making decisions that are uncomfortable, so that we can learn what that discomfort feels like and then become better people or make different choices the next time, right? And so, yeah, it's one of those things where I think, we're born in this world and we're told from a very young age, and to no fault of anybody's, it's just the way that humanity has really developed, is that, we could do things wrong. And so as a little child, it's like, don't do this, don't do that, you're wrong for doing this, you're shame for doing that. And it's like, that little child starts to really develop a complex about itself, and thinking that, like, can it do anything without getting in trouble? And so all of us are holding, onto something from childhood that we might have gotten into trouble for, and now that kind of repeats its cycle as we get older. Well, oops, we made a mistake. Just joking. Facebook made a mistake on us. I'm gonna guilt and shame it now.
So Facebook, just kicked us off of our live for some reason. So we're back, and we'll just continue.
Yeah,
with that.
Totally.
Speaking about this idea of getting in trouble and this feeling that we all have of
move this around. Okay, there we go.
perfect.
Yeah.
Of, do I need to feel guilty? Do I need to feel shame for things that I've done in my life and for mistakes that I've made? When really it is a natural part of life, and it's how we learn and we grow.
Yeah, goodness me. If we didn't do things that felt really uncomfortable, then how would we know how to change? How would we know how to grow? And so for me, it's like nobody makes mistakes. And I think you were just talking about this cancel culture that really fires me up, because it's like, shaming people and wronging people for decisions that they make, when it's just part of life. It's a natural part of life. And to shame people is just really shaming ourselves, because ultimately we're all connected. And if we shame someone, we're really shaming ourselves.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
enough.
point. A beautiful point to bring up is that, when we're looking out there at who we can shame and who we can try to make feel guilty for something, then we're really shaming that part of ourselves. We're not giving ourselves the space to make mistakes. We're not giving ourselves the grace. We're not giving our little child the grace to make mistakes and to learn from them. And so when we're constantly like shoving ourselves down everyone else's throats and making people just feel really bad about themselves for having made a mistake at any point in their lives, it can be really harmful. And like we said, it's you're shaming them, but you're shaming yourself when we're doing that.
Absolutely. And it really comes from a fear of not wanting to look inside at ourselves for the mistakes that we may have made in our lives, and forgive ourselves for what we've done, and so that we can move forward into being better humans. So there's this concept that I think we should bring up now, that in Africa, in this Ubuntu tribe, which is just absolutely wonderful, and my wish is that we can all adopt this way of being. And that is, when someone makes a mistake in the Ubuntu tribe, in their culture, they put them in the middle of a circle, and they get the tribe around that person in a circle, holding hands, and they share with that person what they love about them. All the things that they love about them, all the things that they've done that they think are just amazing, and it helps the person to forgive themselves for whatever it is that they've done. Because on the contrary, if we punish a person for making a mistake, they're more likely to make that mistake again, because what happens is it just shoves the energy down and creates a blockage in the energy field, and when there's a blockage, that person is more likely to make that same mistake again. And so I really love the idea of just getting together and loving each other, like loving each other through life, and supporting one another, because as we support one another, we're really supporting ourselves.
What a beautiful example of a different way to look at the shaming and the guilting for when someone makes a mistake. It's just incredible. And what a world we would live in if we could build each other up instead of tearing each other down. And it's that little version of us that sits just below our belly button in our sacral chakra, where we have all of this stored guilt and shame and fear of making mistakes, fear of getting in trouble. And when this energy center is blocked, we aren't able to experience the freedom and joy and expansion and really tuning into the flow of life. When the sacral chakra is blocked and there's energy and emotion in this center, it's when we feel stuck in life and we're not able to connect to the joy and the magic of life that really exists if we're able to see it and feel it.
Absolutely, yeah, because we're busy holding on to guilt, and then we're more likely to project that guilt and shame out onto others, and really ultimately holding each other hostage to that. And so if we do that, then we continue to hold each other in a space of not being able to experience joy and pleasure in life. And I think really, if we just stop for a moment and pause, and it's like ask each other or ourselves the question, like, do I deserve to experience joy and pleasure in this life? Do I deserve that? Like, hell yeah, I deserve to do that. And so does everybody else. So it's like, let's just let go of the past, you know, like let go of the choices that we've made and learn from them instead, and grow into better people so that we can start to enjoy life together, you know, for everybody, everywhere. And just live this life in a way that is harmonious and loving and kind and caring.
Yeah, and it's really about clearing this energy center, clearing the sacral chakra. And I know for us, going through this journey, and as we get bigger and our audience gets bigger and we're sharing this message further and wider, we can have little memories pop up, little guilt and shame moments from the past, being like, oh, hello, do you remember me? Do you remember what you did when you were 16? Do you deserve to be speaking to people and helping people grow? Have you really grown? You know, that voice can still come in at different times. But when the energy is flowing through that center, you're able to send love and compassion and console that little child that is you, and say, it's okay, you're innocent, you're perfect just the way you are. You're learning and you're growing the same as everyone else on the planet. And so that's really the gift that comes when the energy is flowing in that center, in the sacral chakra.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and what a gift it is for ourselves to be able to clear that energy, and then for each other, so that we don't project the guilt and shame onto one another. Yeah.
And then when the energy is flowing, as you mentioned, we're able to connect to that childlike wonder, that joy, even the magic of life. And we're able to feel in flow with life. So what does that mean? It means that you start seeing synchronicities. You start seeing that maybe you're late for a meeting, and that was the perfect timing because you just missed a traffic jam, or you walked in at the perfect moment for some other reason. You start to really be in flow with life and feel that you're in flow, which is where the magic comes in.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you start to really see that nothing is ever a mistake, because it's all guiding us to exactly where we need to be. And so when we drop the guilt and the shame around making mistakes, we get to see that really nothing is a mistake. It's always guiding us. Life is always guiding us. It's always supporting us and helping us to find the better way, you know, to find a better way to be, a better way to live, and then to start to see, like you see, that there's the joy and the magic and the wonder that is in life. And yeah, so much stuff starts to come up, like being in flow, right? So like, let's say you can't make it to I don't know, an event, and then you realize, well, the reason you didn't make it to the event was because something else was around the corner for you. And yeah, it really starts to get magical and really beautiful.
Yeah, this trust in life really develops, which we talked about in the root chakra as well. That's where we establish this trust in life. And the sacral chakra, as we move up, is where we're able to experience that magic and the flow and the joy of life. And experience sensuality. Something that we've been playing around with more recently is really taking slow moments with sensual experiences. So as you're having a coffee, as you're eating food, really indulging in the sensory experiences. And as well, you know, in sexuality, for a lot of people, globally, it's quite a big thing that when we have energy stuck in this sacral chakra and the guilt and the shame, that doesn't allow us to allow ourselves to experience pleasure in every aspect of life, in sensuality, in sexuality. And so really clearing the center is the gateway to an totally expanded version of yourself, and experiencing more joy and pleasure than you could even dream possible. And we're on the journey too.
Yeah, exactly. Guilt-free pleasure, guilt-free joy, where it's just like, you know, I don't know, for myself lately, the blocks have been coming up and they've been like, am I allowed to experience this much joy? Am I allowed to experience this much pleasure? And that's really all the old stuff and the old stories leaving, right? They're leaving so that more space is created with the energy, within the energy center, to be able to experience a more expanded life, a more joyful and more free, more creative life. And yeah, so it's just dropping those stories, you know, purifying these centers, purifying ourselves, letting go of all the past and all the old stories of being wrong or being guilty or being shamed, and releasing that so that we can step into being more joyful and more free and more creative and expansive. And that, my friends, is how we shift the world. You know, it really all starts with us. It starts with letting go and forgiving ourselves, and really coming into that full knowing that we are not wrong. You know, we've done nothing wrong. Unless you're really deliberately trying to hurt people out there, well then maybe you got to look at yourself a little bit. But, you know, just moving through life and just taking steps to live the best life that you can possible is good enough, and you are good enough, and you are deserving of living an expansive, beautiful, harmonious, loving, joyful, pleasurable life.
Ooh! I felt tingles with that. Yeah, you are, and we all are. And so if we can stop guilting and shaming the crap out of each other, and come inward, and you know, when you feel the urge to guilt, shame, or blame, is come inward, and you can even place your hand on your lower belly and say it's okay, and you're speaking to your child. Totally. It's okay, you're not in trouble, you're safe, there's nothing to be guilty for, you're safe, you're innocent, because like you said earlier, the birds love what we're talking about today.
Thanks birds, we got a good audience.
You are making the best decisions that you can at the time with your knowledge and level of awareness, and so there's nothing to look back and berate yourself for and guilt and shame yourself for. Obviously learn and grow as much as you can, and take what's good and learn and reflect, but really it's the guilt and shame that we keep stored in this energy center that we don't need that anymore.
Totally. And I love what you just said about, you know, if you feel like you're wanting to guilt or shame someone else, that's okay. It's just an opportunity to come back inside and connect with your child, and even ask yourself, like, am I okay? Like, what's going on for me right now? What do I need to do to settle myself in this moment? How can I help my child in this moment to feel safe? And as soon as we come back to the child and settle the child down and recognize that it's feeling unsafe, then that part of us can start to feel safe, and then we get more grounded, and then we don't need to project that guilt and shame out onto anybody else.
Yeah, it's taking...
That's where freedom lies.
It is. It's where freedom lies, and taking those small actions, taking that moment to breathe and connect with this part of yourself. And it's okay if it feels weird or like nothing's happening. I know for me, when I started doing this work of connecting with this child, it was like, I'm saying these things, it feels kind of weird, I don't know if it's landing, I don't know if it's helping, but over time you will connect more and more to that aspect of yourself. And even having some pictures of you as a baby or as a young person, so that you can see. My background on my phone right now is me at 16, because I'm working to heal that version of myself that felt the need to be overactive, doing everything just to feel safe. And so I'm working with her and sending her love.
I love that idea of getting pictures. I do the same. I have a little altar set up of myself in all ages, really, and just looking at myself at those ages and just giving myself love, you know, like, because we can still do that. We can still love that part of ourselves, all the younger versions of ourselves, forgive that part of ourselves, and just love that person, because in the end, that's what the healing energy is love. And so if we can console that part of ourselves and acknowledge that part of ourselves for maybe feeling scared or feeling like we were wrong or whatever it was, then we can really start to heal that within ourselves. And then we can start to treat ourselves with love and respect and kindness, and as a result we treat each other with love and respect and kindness.
I think that's a mic drop moment there. So this beautiful creative energy center, the sacral chakra, it's where a lot of us have a lot of stored emotion and energy, particularly women as well. You know, won't get too much into that, but having so much shame and shut down around sexuality, women can carry a lot of energy there. So if any of this resonated with you, we hope it did. Let us know how it landed for you down below, and reach out if you'd like to experience a clearing of your sacral chakra, some bioenergy healing, so we can get the energy moving and connect to this joy and magic and expansion that is really available all the time. We just can't see it when we're feeling stuck.
Feeling stuck. It's another sign of a blocked sacral chakra. So Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's all return to flow together. Let's all return to joy and pleasure and fun together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for watching, and please let us know down below how this resonated with you. And we're on to the solar plexus chakra next week, so stay tuned. That will be a juicy one.
Yeah. Big love to everybody. Have a
Mwah.
beautiful, magical day. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.